Try that. Okay, let's try that again. Give it another 20 seconds. Maybe it will come up now. Andy, can you hear me? Okay. Okay. Okay, good. Yay! Everything's working. Okay. Now let's see if I can get the overlay to work. Okay, woohoo! Facebook is up, Twitch is up, and you know, if you're on Periscope, you're like, what the heck is Periscope? Did you really add another platform? Yeah, I sort of did. But you know, what's really funny is, well, I'm going to give it 2 more minutes, and we'll start officially at 1 o'clock. But you know, so what's sort of funny is probably 5 years ago or so, when Periscope all started, maybe longer. Periscope was an extension. It was the video portion of Twitter, and so what I was told that I really needed to do it, so I did. And anyway, I did Periscope, or I joined Periscope, but only put up a couple videos. And here I find out that I can simulcast to Periscope too, so why not? I know, it's another one of those apps. I don't think it really ever took off, but we're going to be there and see what happens. Anyway, you know what? It just occurred to me I didn't grab any fuel. I'll be right back. Okay. Ready, babe? Okay, it's 1 o'clock, which means we are up and running, and believe it or not, I got fuel. I forgot that I was a little empty on this one, so ran and got that. Hi, are we recovered from the holiday weekend that messes all of our lives up with our schedules? Because it sure does mess with my life, heck. Anyway, so hope you guys are having a great week. It's really nice here. Hot, but nice, and loving it. But anyway, it's Wednesday. What are we, June yet? No, May 27th, and this is Q Talk Live. I'm Q Fong Gray. Thanks for joining me here. Pretty excited. So today it is part 2 of Step by Step Surprise. The project is together. So if you're following along, here are the rules. Okay. So we don't give out tremendous amount of detail because it's a surprise, and there was a kit that went with it. So if you want to join the fun, there's a new project that starts next week. If you haven't ordered your kit yet, you still can. For everybody else who has ordered a kit, we are moving along. You should have at this point made this, right? It is two rings. Whether you had ordered the copper set or the silver, you should have 2 rings like so, square wire, and you should have a twisted. You could have done all of them twisted. That was sort of up to you. It was an option that was given out. As some of you have contacted me, not just one person, there's more than one of you, and said, yeah, you know, it wasn't so easy making these making these similar. So you know, the trick in jewelry making, the real shall we say, talent is to make things in duplication. It's really hard, and over time, if you do it long enough, it'll become a little bit easier, but still it's hard to make things exact without a jig. So don't beat yourself up too much if you were unable to do that. Get them as close as possible. And I always say, you know what, if people come up to you and say, oh, you know, your pieces are off, they've invaded your personal bubble anyway, so you know, it's fine. All right, so here we go. Make sure that you have today a tripod is important, okay, and a tripod with mesh, because we do need to heat from underneath. You will definitely need a burnisher. For those who took the silver option, you all have the option to set a stone, so you're going to need a burnisher with that, and then you're going to need either a heavy-duty cutter or a saw, okay? And what else do we have? Some solder, of course, and we go from there. The links are not up yet because of the technology we're using. The links will come up after. So after I'm done, I'll put all the links and the description and whatnot for this project in the details or the description on Facebook and also on Twitch. So just check back and all those links will be up there. Anyway, okay, so here we go. So we'll start off with these 3 pieces. They should be pickled also at this point, okay? And first thing we're going to do, I had to solder this piece. Why? We started as a ring and we needed to make it into an oval. Not many of you have oval mandrels. Actually, I don't know a single person who has an oval mandrel this large. Usually oval mandrels are really small, like this one. You see, it's just really tiny and there's no chance you're ever going to use it. So the easiest way to make an oval is to start round, and then what we did was we stretched it out using the bow opening pliers, like so, okay? Where we just stretched it out like so. Now you could, if you didn't have bow opening pliers, of course you can take out a pair of pliers like so and moved it apart to stretch it to make your oval. Okay, so I had you make it into rings. I had you solder and then make it into an oval, and we're actually going to cut it open. Okay, that twisted ring, we're going to cut it open because we're going to interlock it inside of these 2 rings to make it look like so. Okay, there we are. Now, why did we solder only to cut it back open? Because you know what? It's easier. It was easier just to stretch out that ring. You could try to make it into an oval without it, but it doesn't come out real even. So that was sort of my trick to have that happen. So 2 ways of cutting this open is you can go ahead and just take out your heavy-duty cutters and cut it. And if you have a burr on one side or the other, you're going to have to file that. But to prevent the burr, I'm actually going to take the time and I'm going to saw it open very easily. Just hold it like so, and actually I'm going to wax that a little bit, my saw. It helps it glide, and I'm just going to go right down the middle of where the solder joint was. Okay, I'm just going to saw it like so. Oh, blade broke. I'm going to take that out, clear it of the debris. Hold on, where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Shorten it just a hair, put it in, and tighten it. Okay, so put this back in, right where I start cutting and sawing. So it's just going to saw it straight through. You can also put this on a vise to hold your ring. It'll be a lot easier than how I'm doing it. I normally would have a vise, but then I would mean I have to move the camera again. So this is just as easy. It's not very much of a cut. It shouldn't take very long. Yes, of course, I have a dull blade once again because I've been doing a lot of sawing recently. So if you need to re-lubricate, do that. almost there. There it is. Okay, so straight through. Sawing allows a perfect cut, and then you don't have to file or anything, because remember, we don't like filing. Okay, so see, this is so worn. I'm going to go ahead and throw that away. Actually, I'm not really going to throw it away. I'm going to recycle it. Believe it or not, you can recycle saw blades. I just have a container in my drawer for scrap metal, and it's just steel. It's scrap metal. So here, you know, it's a nice clean cut all the way through. I'm going to move it apart just like that, and then I'm going to intertwine it. So you want to go under and over and under and over like so. You see that? And then this one will go, let's see, under, over, under, and there it is. Okay. Wait, it's not, oh, okay, so this one needs to go over. This one needs to go over. Try to be gentle with it, or else you're going to warp your pieces. Try not to distort your piece too much. And notice how I'm pulling it in. I'm pulling it closer to center it, okay? And then I'm just going to move these pieces. Can you see that? I'm going to move them together. And you may need to anneal this if your rings aren't moving, because you know you've twisted it, you've bent it, you've done all kinds of things, but hopefully through the soldering process you would have already annealed it. And look at that. So these two, can you see that? These two will come together right back to where they started perfectly. And here, I think you can see this, right? I'm going to push it past each other like a jump ring. Can you see the bypass? And then I'm going to pull it back out to create tension. There it is, between the joint. Aha! There. It's a nice clean joint. Alright, so I'm also feeling to make sure that there are no burrs. And then I'm going to go ahead and solder that. So a little bit of medium solder will work to put that back together. Let's grab some medium solder. And I like to use paste, it's easier, but you don't have to if you have chip or wire and you want to use that instead. So, and I'm just going to hold this up with my okay, so I have mine holding here in the pliers. So I just had a request to do this again because there was buffering issues. So I'm going to set this aside for a second. I'm going to pull this out, my copper sample, and I know it's really hard to see this one, so I'm going to go ahead and pickle this real quick so you can actually see it a little bit better. Actually remembered to turn on my pickle today. I'm proud of myself. You know, not all the pieces always come together at the same time. You know, technology, everything else, me, heck, I forgot my I forgot fuel today, so little by little. All right, I'm gonna pickle those pieces. Ooh, nice hot solder, or hot pickle. So it pickled fairly quickly. That's good, because I'm just gonna demo it. So again, you have the two pieces. Actually, mine's a little bit warped at this point. I'm gonna flatten that. So this was my test piece from before when I was developing the project. Okay. So here you have the you have your twisted wire. I've cut it, and then I'm going to interlock it. So I'm just going to go under, one, over, you see, under, and then over, and then this one would go over and under. So here I'm going to move it. I'm going to move it out like so, and I gently move it like towards the middle, and then I'm going to move. I'm using my hands. If you want to use your pliers, you can. If your fingers aren't strong enough, just be aware that you want to make sure that you're not marring anything along the way. So basically, when you're doing this, you want to make sure that you have an over, under, under, you see, and then over. So you sort of over, under, like that. And then you want to make sure it meets right there. Okay? So hope that helped. I went ahead and put a little bit of solder right at the joint there. And I'm going to solder this. All right, let's see, work here. And I'm going to heat it. I'm going to heat that, just that center ring. And I'm going to point my torch right at that joint so nothing else gets hot. Okay, every so often heat the whole thing. There it is, done. Okay. Quench it, and you can see it's soldered. All right, I'm going to throw it in the pickle, and then we'll flatten it. So now you want to go ahead and pull out your bezel cup and your daisy spacers. Okay. So if you got the copper kit, you're going to use, instead of the bezel cup, you will use the daisy spacer in its place. So there was some fine silver wire in there so that you can make a little granule with, and this is how we're going to do it. I'll make a little granule while we're pickling. So here we're just going to cut a tiny little bit. We're just going to cut a tiny little bit of silver, put it on our magnesia block. There we are. And heat it up until it becomes a granule, or Q throws it off her block. There it is again. There. Just teeny weeny little bit. And we're making a granule simply by heating it right at the blue tip on our block. You can use a magnesia block, you can use a solder block, all of it will work until it turns into a ball. For some reason, that's a funky ball. It doesn't want to stay. Okay, make sure you grab it right before it cools too much, because then it'll just pick up the, oh, that wasn't fine silver. You can tell because it's really dark. So that was sterling silver, so it looks a bit like a raisin. Nobody likes that. So go ahead and use the fine silver for that. I already have one made up, so we'll grab one of those. Okay. I was playing yesterday with filigree and whatnot, so I have a whole bunch of little pieces here. All right, so I have my my granule, and then we'll do it again. We're going to just take the granule, we'll put a little bit of medium solder on the bottom of it, just a little bit like so on the bottom. Place it right on top of the Bali daisy, and that closes up the hole. It makes a nice little accent. Okay. Oops. The solder is now stuck to my fingernail. Here we are. And I'm just going to heat that and just solder it together. So here we're just prepping for the copper kit. If you got the silver kit, then you're just going to hang out with me here for a minute. There we are. So notice it's very, very gentle. You don't want to overheat this, or that Bali bead is going to fall apart. I'll throw that in the pickle too. And then now I'm going to go ahead and grab the my unit out of the pickle. Yeah, lovely. Okay, here we are. Nice and clean. And like so. I'm going to center that. I'm going to take out my bench block. You know, you don't necessarily have to have the bench block. You could probably push it down with your hands, but with your mallet. So you see how it's wonky because we interlocked the center ring. So just help it down a little bit. And this is going to test your soldering skills. If you didn't solder correctly, it'll fall apart. So this should all stick together. So I'm just working this down so that all the pieces are flat to the bottom. And another thing too, what happens there, look, it locked it in place. It is not going to move. So here is sort of optional. It's up to you if you want to go ahead and put solder underneath these areas. I say it's going nowhere. I say this is going to be, it's permanent. So I'm not going to bother. Okay. All right. So before we move on, I'm going to talk about design for a little bit. All right. So you can wear this like this way, or you can wear it this way. So you put a jump ring here, or you can do 2 jump rings and then have your links going, your necklace going out from there. So it's sort of up to you how you finish this. Okay. Next up, we're going to go back on our tripod. Let's see, go up this way a little bit, and I'm going to pull this out. I think you can see that a little bit better. There we go. Okay, and here I'm going to go ahead and use a little bit more. Well, I'm going to go to easy solder, I think. Yeah, you can use easy or medium, that's up to you. And I'm going to put a little bit right in the center, right here. Okay. Okay. And then we'll place our bezel cup right in the middle. Oops. Make sure it's not lopsided. There we are. And if you want to, so if you're doing the daisy spacer, you'll put your daisy spacer right there in the middle. And you know, I'm going to get up and look over it and make sure I'm actually centered, because I feel like I'm not centered. All right. So you can put your daisy spacer there instead of the bezel cup if you'd like. There were a couple other small spacers. If you want to, you can do this. I'll show you. Okay. This is where tweezers are always nice. If you want to, you can put a little daisy here and a daisy here. So, can you see that? It's a nice little accent. You know, it's all up to you if you want to or not. You can also, if you want, try and put them here. Okay? So, by the way, I've been using a lot of daisy spacers lately. So if you don't have daisy or Bali beads, we do have an assortment on our website. Okay, so I'm not going to bother, but if you want the daisy spacers on there, you would do it at this point too and solder it all at the same time. Why not? It would work. It makes life really, really easy. I like things that a little bit less busy, but they're fun. Okay, so then actually, you know what? I am going to put 2 daisies on here. I changed my mind. Prerogative, right? Okay, so I'm just going to dip it just a little bit right into my easy solder. Right there. And just dip the bottom. Again, just for a little accent. Why not? Like so. And I'm going to stand up and look over it, because I want to make sure that I am actually nice and even. Don't think so. Yes, this is the anal retentive part of me right here. Okay, so then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to heat from the bottom. I'm not going to heat from the top, because these bezel cups and the daisies are really, really delicate and I don't want them falling apart. So by heating from the bottom, I'm hoping to prevent that from happening. Okay, are we ready? Let's see. I'm hesitating because we're only that far from the camera. So I'm going to heat at an angle like this instead of directly under, because I'm going to try not to hit the camera. That's right there. Okay. Otherwise, you go right under. Are you following? You understand? I think so. I hope so. Okay. So if you ordered the kit, just to let you know, the instructions are coming right after the video, and I did give you a diagram. So, alright, so I'm going to heat from below. I'm actually going to turn this down a little bit so I don't melt anything. And I'm going to just heat right Oops. Right there. There it goes. I think that one went. I'm making some assumptions because it's awfully red, it's awfully hot. So, done. Okay. No. Ooh, it fell apart. Okay. Try that again. Okay. So my two rings fell apart. I gave it way too much heat. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this back in the pickle and we'll resolder that. So then what's going to happen now, so nothing else falls apart, I'm going to do this with really extra easy solder. Use a copper solder. If you don't have extra easy solder, you'll do solder again. You'll do easy solder again. And I'm actually going to swap out at this point because I want my pieces to stay together. I'm going to do it again upside down, but on my pumice so that all the pieces stay together. Okay. So if you are just hanging out on Facebook and have nothing better to do, we'd really appreciate it if you would share the videos or even the Q-Talk page. It would be much appreciated. Get the word out so that we can continue doing this. It's been fun. I'm having fun. I'm already looking forward to next week. Actually, while I'm pickling, this is Monday's project. So the official name is quadratum. I think it's quadratum. Anyway, it's Latin for square. Okay, so this is going to be Monday's project. You're going to need 16 gauge wire and 18 gauge wire in 2 colors if you want, 3 colors, or just 1 color, whatever metal you want, but it's 16 and 18 gauge wire. In 2 weeks, I just finished this yesterday, so we're going to do a bracelet, a pendant. And what else are we doing? Oh, yeah. 4th of July, we're going to do these earrings. I'm calling them sparklers. So it'll be fun, these two. And still haven't finished this yet, but somebody came up with a great idea. Why don't I do that with enameled head pins or ball pins? So it's red, white, and blue for 4th of July. We'll see. We'll see if I can get that done. And then in 3 weeks, still working on this, I'm doing... This is actually called, it's a classic heart link, but I'm going to call it the loopy link, so, because I already have a heart link. So yeah, lots of projects coming up, and here we are coming out of the pickle. And, okay. So my daisies are on there, and my bezel's on there, but we have decided to fall apart. So I'm going to play with it a little bit and see if I can get it together so I know exactly which way it should go. And then I'm going to place it back in here. Here we go. You stay. Oh, okay, I understand. You got to make sure it is going the same direction as it was before. It's going to take me a minute to get it there. Okay. Again, you got to figure out the exact direction that you had it before, you see? So there I am again. So now that I know that, wait. Okay, there we are. Okay. So I'm facing that down, like so. Making sure everybody's back even again. Like so. And I'm just going to put some extra easy solder. Now, every time I talk about extra easy solder and I say, okay, it's not great because it doesn't come back up to a bright silver color. Well, remember, I also footnote that with I keep it around for these desperate moments, and I'm in a desperate moment here. So let me zoom in on this so you can see what's going on. I'm liking the zoom function. Wow. Okay. Zooming in. So a little bit of extra easy solder, or if you have copper solder, you can use that because it's really soft. Okay. And it's not going on because it's still wet. I'm going to give it a little bit of heat just to dry it and help my solder stick. Just like so. Okay. Let's see if I can zoom this in just a little bit more for you. Actually, you know what? Better yet, I'm going to zoom it out and do it this way. Hold on. Haha. Elevate it. Alright. So now I'm just going to heat it right through there. Try not to overheat it because of that bezel cup is so thin. Just heating everybody a little bit. I think I got it. We'll see. Because it's copper solder, it needs a moment to think about it, so I give it a second to breathe. Whew! Yay! Okay. There it is. Make sure I'm nice and flat again. I'll put it back on the bench block and lock it back into place because everybody sort of fell apart. Okay. Make sure we're nice and dry and throw it in the pickle. Okay. So here it is up to you how you want to attach a bail. You can just add the jump ring and make it sort of free so that it just moves around. So just jump it in, solder the jump ring right at the top, or you can solder the jump ring to the top of the piece itself. Okay. Let's do that. I'm going to grab a couple of jump rings here. And you'll need a couple pairs of pliers to do this with. 1 and 2. I'm just going to open up the jump rings and prep it while we wait for the pickle to work. There we are. I'm constantly trying to put away all my pliers as I go because it just makes a mess and I can't find anything even though I haven't moved. So, okay. Pickle. Close, almost there. Another thing you can do too is you can think about your patina and how you want this patinaed. I am warming up some water now, and we're gonna, at the end of this, we're gonna do some liver sulfur patina here. I've got my microwave under me. You know, I need to add some more time to that. It's not, the water isn't very warm. So, multitasking. All right. Here we are. Not as clean as I'd like it to be. All right, one more shot at the pickle. Okay. And then liver of sulfur, you can use liver of sulfur, you can use black max, you can use, well, basically whatever makes you happy when it comes to patina. I think I lost my liver of sulfur. What the heck? Alright, let's check the pickle. Yay, clean. Okay, so it's definitely summer. A fly has found its way in here. Okay, so here we are. I guess someone's asking, the liver sulfur is under $10 for the gel. Alright, so here we're going to attach your jump rings. So again, a couple ways of doing that. This is going to be for your bail. Okay, there we are. So two ways of wearing this. You can add your jump ring like so. Remember, when you open and close jump rings, you want to twist them apart. You don't want to pry them apart, right? So this twisting motion, as opposed to pulling it out like so. Okay, so here. So as you can see, you can put the jump rings on like so, and put your chain, and you come out from both directions, you see? Or you can do it simply from the top, and that's how I'm going to do it, and I'll show you how to do that here in a second. Deborah was asking what I'm calling this one. This is the SSS pendant. So the filigree I'll show you guys later. Someone was asking about the filigree that I have on the schedule. Just posted an updated schedule on the QTalk page. So it's pinned to the top just to make it easier for everybody if you're looking to see what the upcoming projects are. I have come up with a third surprise project for later in the month already. Okay. I'm sorry, Andy, what was that? Okay, so what I'm going to do is for me, I want to solder a jump ring to the top, like so, because I want mine to hang up and down. I want to hang this way as opposed to sideways, okay? So how I'm going to do it, for me, is the easiest way to do it is just to stick it into some pumice and hold it just like so over the top. Now if you don't have a steady hand, which is typical, is you would pull out a third hand, okay, like this, and then you would manipulate this and articulate this so that it holds your jump ring over the top of your pendant. Okay, so again, for me, quickest, easiest way to do it is just put this baby in here. I like to work my way to the edge more than the middle, with the opening facing down. Put a little bit of solder on there, and where's my solder? Oh, there it is. Just a teeny weeny bit of solder is enough. And I'm going to heat it from here and bring my jump ring closer. Okay, actually see if I can do it a little bit better up here. I think that's better. There. Okay. Just like that. Try not to melt the Bali spacer that's there. I'm going to get it really nice and warm before I bring this in. And just like so, bring it down right behind that Bali spacer, heat it until it flows. Maybe, I think it did it. Give it a second to think about it, and look at that. It came right out. It came right out, meaning if I can pick it up by the jump ring, it's together. But the best test, of course, is to make sure that you actually try to pry it apart. That's important. So you can see, ooh, it came up, but look, it still wiggles. So no, it did not do it. Put it back in, heat it again, and make sure that it actually flowed. or it made a better connection. So I'm going to hold it right there. I saw the solder, it flowed up to the jump ring, but I need it to flow down, so I'm pointing my torch down. And I don't think, yeah, that's not going to happen. Okay, so I've now officially tormented this piece, because look, it's going to come right off. The solder has gone up to the jump ring, and now it's dirty. So once again, quench it, and let's pickle that one more time, along with the jump ring. And then we're going to try soldering it again. You do need to make sure that you keep it clean. I'm working with copper, which means it's just dirty. So make sure that you pickle. If you produce fire scale, you need to pickle, or else it's never going to work. Remember, solder doesn't like any barriers, and fire scale does produce that barrier for you. Okay, that will work against you. That will keep it from soldering. I think I made my point. Let's see. All right. So if you're new to all of this, Andy, my husband, is the one who's answering everybody on Facebook and we can't answer on Facebook, but we can answer on Twitch. So if you make any comments there, we are answering there, and he's the one relaying all of the questions in my ear. Okay, so I'm setting this back up again, and I'm going to grab that jump ring with the opening facing down, and I'm going to put on a little bit more solder. Okay. Okay, back in frame. Sorry. And I'm going to go this way. There we are. A little closer to me. Okie dokie. I'm turning this slightly away from me so that the Bali daisy is facing away from the torch a little bit. I'm going to heat this, get it nice and warm before I bring in the jump ring, or else it'll solder to the jump ring way too quickly. And there it is. Almost. There it is. Alright. So, I actually saw the solder move through the jump ring in between the ring and the jump ring. Okay, quench that and do this again. So you can see there's my my jump ring. Okay, into the pickle, we'll clean it up, set the stone. Again, if you were not doing the stone, you would put that Bali spacer that we made earlier into that center area. Okay. Alright, you'll need a little bit of steel wool or maybe a brass brush to help clean this out. And depending on the stone that you have, if you have a clear stone, you will need to clean out the inside of, if you want it to be really shiny and have reflective value, you want to clean out the inside of the bezel. Okay. I have a lemon quartz. Alright, coming out of the pickle. See, nice and clean. Alright. I like it really nice and dry when I do this kind of thing. So a couple things here. You can take a little bit of steel wool and put it on a toothpick if you want and clean the inside. It's a really nice, quick, easy way to do it. If you have a little mini brass brush, end brush, like so, okay, you can do it on, I don't know if you can you see that? There you go. You can do it on a flex shaft on the inside, like so. Or not, you don't have to do it on a flex shaft, but you could do it by hand like so, like that. But the steel wool works too. And see how it's nice and shiny now? Alright, so we'll go ahead and set this. I'm gonna just drop this in there. And you know, sometimes the bezel cup is a little small. Frankly, these bezel cups are like 28-30 gauge. It's really thin. No problem. Just squeeze it right in there. it'll go. It'll stretch out. Okay? So once it's down nice and tight, take out your burnisher and set it. Okay, let me zoom in for you. And with your burnisher, because it's so thin, right, you can just push it right in. Can you see the little dent? Let's see, that I just did? So you want to, when you're setting this, do, what am I thinking? The imperial points? I can never remember that word. Anyway, north, south, east, west, right? So sort of like the compass, right? So I'm doing top, bottom, left, right, and then I'm going to go into the opposite in the diagonals, always working in opposite till you tack it in, like so. Cardinal. Oh, thank you. Cardinal points. That's what the word I'm looking for. I knew that. Okay, so notice everything is in, right? I have like 8 crimps all the way around. Let's see, can you see that? I have like 8 crimps all the way around. So now that I've done that, I'm just going to take my burnisher on the round side and just burnish all those ends in. You can go ahead and use a bezel roller if you'd like, if that's easier for you. And notice I'm just working my way around the stone, pushing that bezel in and making that hug the stone. And that is what's going to hold the stone in. It is really easy because, again, this bezel cup is a very, very thin metal. And because it's so thin, it's also why I was heating from the bottom and trying not to heat from the top, because it's so thin that you'll likely melt it. Okay? And the other pieces are so thick compared to the that bezel cup. Alright, so you see how the crimps are slowly getting smooth? You see that? And then I'm going to hold this in my hand. I'm going to, hold on, see if I'm going to move this out a little bit so you can see. Okay, so I'm holding it like so, close to my body, and I'm just going to move it around. Whatever it takes to get it to all those crimps to go away is what I'm doing, until it is nice and smooth. Okay, I'm pretty close. I have one little, there's one, and a little bit more up here. And all the while I'm never really touching the stone. Even when I have it like so, I'm not really touching the stone. I know it's hard to see in the camera, but, and then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to burnish it. Literally adding a lot of pressure. I'm moving the burnisher around, and you can probably see it is getting shiny. Okay, and that will help close the deal. It takes away that any sharp edges, and makes it nice and tight. Okay, okay, I can sit here and do this for a while, but anyway, so there it is. Lastly, again, brass brush or whatever, your steel wool, you can take out your flex shaft if you have one and do some cleaning on it. Okay, so doing the back, I'll do the front. I would show you how to liver a sulfur, but somehow it has gone missing. It's really weird. It's not on my desk. Oh, wait. Did I? Oh, I just remember where I hid it. Liver a sulfur. Alright, hold on. I'm gonna liver a sulfur this. Okay. So, liver a sulfur. Let me zoom back out so you can see. So I just have a little bit of warm water here, and I'm just gonna open this up. I know, shame on me, I'm using my burnisher. to open this up. All right, open that up. It's gonna smell in here. I'm gonna grab a little grain out. There you go. That should be enough. Okay, so you see it's changing, and this is warm, okay? So, you know, on the Urban Beader website, we sell the gel because that's where everybody's moving to, is to gel. It's a little bit easier. Frankly, I've had this for like 10 years. And if you know me, you know I don't throw anything away until it's no longer good. So since it's still good, I'm still using it. Here we go. Again, the water is warm. I heated that up. This is like half a cup of water. And I'll save this as long as I can. I'll put the lid on it and put it in a cool, dark place. And I can save this for a little bit. A few days at least. Sometimes I can save it for a month, depending on environment. And just dip it in. There we are. Okay. And the thing is, you do want to liver sulfur this so that you can get the Bali beads up. And you know what? I made a mistake here. Okay, is you should patina this before you set your stone. And I'll tell you why. But this is sort of funky. I'm liking this. Okay, because the liver sulfur did get in behind my bezel, but look, it turned it into some funky colors. I dig it. Anyway, so depending on what you want, how you want it, you probably want to liver sulfur this before you set the stone, and then clean out the inside of that bezel. Alright, I'm sort of digging this. See, I'm liking how it changed my silver. I do like that color. I don't know, can you tell? It's sort of a funky green color. And I'm just gonna clean it. You can use steel wool if you prefer, if you don't have a brass brush. Either way. And actually I was thinking about moving over to steel wool here in a second because I'm not getting quite what I want out of this. So I am going to move over to steel wool. And it's up to you how clean you want this. You know, it's how patina do you like it? I typically don't care for much patina. I like things to be bright and shiny. See? Bright and shiny. A lot of people would have blackened this bracelet to give it a little bit more depth, but oh, I'm sorry. I got the question incorrect regarding the steel wool. Why did it change the funky color? Because the patina, the liver sulfur, got inside and it changed the silver. So the silver, so did you see how I have a funky color on the silver? Can you see that? Like on the back of that bezel cup? It turned it like that on the inside too. Okay. There you go. But that is one way to sort of adjust your colors. If you are working with a clear stone, so instead of just a plain silver inside, make a, you know, patina your silver. It'll make a slightly different color stone because it's all about reflective value, right? And so I'm just cleaning it. Oh, digging it. Oh, no, the steel wool doesn't change the color. It's allowing me to clean a little bit better. Is that what you're asking? No, the steel wool had no effect on why it changed. The liver sulfur caused the silver to change colors. Because liver sulfur on silver doesn't just make it black, it makes it all kinds of funky colors. It takes a little bit of effort to get it, you have to leave it in there a little bit longer to get it to just be black. Okay. almost done. Again, if you want to get into these little crevices, again, you can use the little brass brush on a flex shaft and get in there, or here, you know, a easy way to do it also is on a toothpick. I just twisted a bunch of steel wool on the end of a toothpick, and I can get into these spots here. Okay, see, we put it all together. Get it? That's why I call the project Together, because the links are put together. Okay, any other questions? This is about it. Pretty much done. I'll post a picture of the final product here. Okay. So again, I posted the schedule for the next 3 weeks. Do us a favor, if you could share that schedule, that would be great with all your jewelry buddies. And that's it. There's my project. I hope you like it. I hope that was fun. It's a surprise, right? I know a lot of you couldn't figure it out after the end of last week what it was, and don't know if you figured out where this was going, but anyway. Next week, the step-by-step surprise is going to be a lot more complicated, FYI, and so gear up. I hope you're ready. So Friday we have the Zoom session. If you have not registered yet, you still can. Getting a kit, we won't be able to get it to you by Friday, but we'll have it for you by the second session. But this is the project for Friday. Somebody's asking, oh, if I have a step-by-step in silver? Is that what you're asking? Actually, no, I don't have one in silver. I didn't make one. So there it is. So maybe I'll make one later. All right, and then what else is going on? Okay, so Monday's project is going to be the quadratum, this one. Friday is going to be the enamel beyond the crosshairs, and then step-by-step surprise next week is is the over the top. You can still get a kit on that if you want to. I'm sorry, Andy, what was that? So the question is, somebody asked for the all silver project, liver of sulfur or black max. If you want a really intense color, do the black max. If you want some of this funky stuff, do the liver of sulfur. Either way, it'll work. I hope I answered that question. Okay. So, anything else? I think that's it. All right. I think the weather's supposed to be great for the rest of the week. I hope everybody goes out and enjoys the weather. Otherwise, I will see everybody who registered for Zoom on Friday, and I will see everybody else on Monday. Yay, we got through the technical stuff today. We survived. We're on both, or we're on 3 platforms now. Let's see if we can add YouTube next week. Ha! Okay. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see ya. Oh, I forgot. Debbie asked about the filigree. Totally forgot. Haven't finished it yet. I'm still working on finishing it, but yeah, I got some blurbs. There it is. Okay, so there's the filigree, and yes, I like the almond shape thing. And there's the pendant. So this is in, what am I thinking, 2 weeks, and this is in 3 weeks, something like that. Anyway, I haven't posted information on either one. I'm working really hard to get that up this week. Okay. All right. Yay! I think that's it. I give up.